this second convention from 7 general meetings. In fact, I was wondering why I was given this topic. Bypassing ignoring all these elders who are aware of us, the historical accounts of Northeast India and also of our clan. So I was, in one side, very happy, but I regret that I have accepted this by not giving this platform to our elders. But what to do? It has already been done like this, allowing me to stand and share a little bit of information that I have gathered during my short period of my research. But I would never say this presentation is a final, because I feel that we need to go, or we need to reconduct a thorough research work without having any precondition. We need to reconstruct, deconstruct, filter, and finally constructed. I'm talking about the historical account of our plan. Because why I say this, because there are so many theories, starting from our elders of our plan. 1, 2, from those books written by others, also giving different versions of story. How the history of Jelengong or Nriamepeuna clans developed, and who was the first man of Nriamepeuna clan, or on the other side, who was the first man to claim himself as a Jelengong. This is the area where we have to revisit. This is my opening brief, opening remark. And here, secondly, I have come up with 2 pages of 10 font size. If we print this in normal font, I think it will come around 5 to 6 pages. I am in big dilemma that whether I have to give out this written paper or not today, because there are some areas which we need to revisit and improve. And at least I thought of giving out this to the clan elders who are in committee, so that they can also make use of it as a foundation for further research based on this. And I have also, in the very first place, written down a little bit of the historical account of Nagas in general and Jelengong or Nriamepeuna in particular. But I will not go into detail on that part. And also, in the second part, I have also written down some of the information that I have gathered about the in-mass or mass exodus of our people from Mapuilondi. In this, I may not go deep into down there, but I have to at least unavoidably dwell to give some information for all of us gathered here. According to our one school thought, we have two theories here. Some school of thought says we have exodus from Makuilundi, the reasons why we have migrated or why we have departed from each other from Makuilundi. Some school of thought says in that before the dispersal, in that village called Makuilundi, the village had grown up to 7,777 households. Of course, the land or geographical areas of Makuilundi was vast enough, but in due course of time, the population increased tremendously. That is why we also, all of us know that we are engaged in agriculture or shipping cultivation, even in this day, but those days in a very, very large scale. We depend on shipping cultivation only. That is why when the population grows, the land becomes, less. The fertile land becomes less. Therefore, one scholar says that because of that reason, we are departed from Makuilundi by and by. Then, what the second school of thought says, we have two school of thought. The reason why we have, departed each other among our brothers from Makuilundi, with the Nriamepeuna or with the Nriamepeuna. Another school of thought says there was a conflict between brothers. Two brothers were competing for the chieftainship of the Makuilundi village. Another was defeated, another came to the front of the chieftainship of Makuilundi. So the other brother were defeated, become frustrated, and started leaving the village along with some few of his followers. By saying all these things, I remind you once again, I'm not going to say this information which I have gathered are the final. But what I have collected during my limited studies, I have found these two schools of thought. Why or what were the reasons our brothers were departed each other from Makuilundi? Which one is correct? I do not know yet, and which means I will not conclude yet. We need to go for further research to conclude without any contribution or without any references. For that reason, our clan has already constituted a research committee also, and that is not enough. We need to expand the committee also to do this research work. And that is about a little bit of the exodus from Makuilundi. And most importantly, now we have to come to the topic of the origin of Nriamepeuna. When we start studying about the origin of Nriamepeuna, many things come in mind, which we cannot ignore. We cannot study Nriamepeuna alone in isolation. Without studying the history, culture of the whole Nriamepeuna people, Nriamepeuna people. Because Nriamepeuna is the bigger family. Within the framework of Nriamepeuna, a clan is inside or within the framework of the Nriamepeuna history, culture. Therefore, a clan history cannot be studied in isolation. It has to be studied with. And here, the more we study, the more we don't get the answer. I mean, the topic is not so easy. It's complex as much as about the other people. The question comes here. As I said, who was the first person from or of Nriamepeuna clan who proclaimed to be, or who is or who was the one who declared himself that I'm Nriamepeuna? Where he came from? What is his origin? What was his origin? ให้ไงกุศลของได้ข้าบอกองค์นี้สาวไม่ต่างกุศดูคิดผู้คิดตัวหัวร่างใดกุศคนนี้แข็งออกต้องเข้าของการและผมสองSome says when we study in and in, out and out, we cannot jump into conclusion very easily. I was thinking in a wild thought. If we go by the reasons, one of the reasons of our Nriamepeuna people, the first man of Nriamepeuna may be older than the Adam and Eve, in one sense. Some reason says that we came from high above. Some say sky, some say heaven. When we study about when we read about one of the reasons of our Nriamepeuna, we came across. Myth or legend is another story. It may not sound very scientific, but in one way, every civilization, every civilized people, every civilized tribe, they have their own such story, not only of us. Myth and legend study should be done for. Mấy cái lắm trong bài thì nó về thì thấy tôi mới trong pri hay lùm mày lùm móng mày sáng cái cái proof lùm móng mày quật này nó không là anh ấy còn làm nó study sửa rồi mấy sáng không còn tỏ đấy mấy cái lắm trong study sửa ra rồi đấy các về nhà thế mày nó còn có cái giáo của mình còn legend week sáng cái proof móng mày này rất được đây nè Kalau yang kata tahu superpower tamu ini, they have passed through this test, and they have Cinderella. It's a myth. It's a legend. Ini dari kepala ni. Lawan kelas English school tu Cinderella story kami nengai ini. English nengai tahu deh, kami nengai ini. They have their own. I scientifically prove semua fiction. We call it fiction also. Ada cinema apa fiction tapi ini tahu tu yang ni. Scientifically data out there, we study semua orang mana, mana tu base semua tu history mana, kan tu nulat mana tu. Then as I say, us also cannot be ignored. There is no reason that we should hide. Though it may not be scientifically provable, it's still a property, still a wealth. This will be the foundation of our civilization, of Nriamepeuna or Naga or Nriamepeuna. In that way, I am convinced myself that this myth and legend should be studied thoroughly and preserved. On this foundation only, we can come to know our history, our culture, our ancestors, the root of the migration. That is how, through my reading, I am being convinced again. Therefore, I want to convey this thought to all of us, that we should value this region, tradition, culture, so that we will make our history more stronger, more valuable, more significant, That is the reason we are here taking up this topic. Otherwise, this is a very challenging topic. I have read most of the written books written by Nagas. Some of the insiders means writers from Delano people, outsiders and some of the writers from outside, Indians or outside the Delano family. Scholars have written about us in some books, and our people also wrote about us. These research have laid a very strong foundation, but to me, we need more research to verify the finding, whether right or wrong. By reading all those findings written by others, based on that we cannot come into conclusion that this is right, this is wrong, this is enough. We have to live on this foundation. No, that is not enough. We are here today to conduct our further research. If those findings are found to be genuine, acceptable, logical, then we will accept it. Right? And when we study a thorough research, all those research findings are not genuine enough, not satisfactory, according to our fresh research, we will ignore it and rewrite our history by improving. For this, say some legend about the origin of our plant, Nriamepeuna plant, says the first man, I say the first man, it may be from Nriamepeuna or for Nriamepeuna or of Delano as a whole, we do not know. We have to establish the fact by a fresh research, but for time being, according to this theory or legend, Nriamepeuna, the first man, came from heaven, as I said, who declared himself this, the first man of Nriamepeuna, who declared that he is Nriamepeuna or Nriamepeuna, is Tingkurate. According to this theory, Tingkurate. I have a very rough translation here. I mean, the exact wording according to that legend, the first man declared as up away, we Nriamepeuna Tingkurate Kamiokyo. This is the phrase. The first man called Tingkurate declared himself that he is a Nriamepeuna. From where he is? From heaven. Today also our brothers from Nriamepeuna are here to help me. This wording itself, I took the help of more than 600 scholars from Delano to translate for me. What is the exact meaning of this phrase? Up away, Nriamepeuna Tingkurate. The nearest translation given to me was Dr. Newman, who is studying in Nehru. He was also trying very hard. He took 2 days to help me, even to give this rough translation of the phrase declared by first man of Nriamepeuna, Tingkurate Kamiokyo. Up away, Tingkurate Kamiokyo declares from a Puzanda, mấy phù đồ meaning that Tingkurate, my translates là Nriamepeuna original language to ani riam ni tong thoi then when I brothers from Assam, Tamai scholars, few scholars of Khan. He helped me in this way, translating this. Out away, Nriamepeuna, coming down from high sky or heaven. Cũng sai nè, mấy cả ốc away, tin cú ra cây của miếu kiêu còn làm cho tôi than rằng một cách tin cú ra cây, tụi mình cả coming down from high sky or heaven, ta cũng cả. The first man tin cú ra cây declare and said that Nriamepeuna, tin cú ra cây Nriamepeuna. Ốc away is a yelling or something like. But Tingkuraka is a meaningful word. That translation which I get from some of the scholars, roughly translated is coming down from high sky of heaven. Mai salah ko ani ko paul ni salam de lui si to na. Ani allow kiam na don ho prasi sabe na don ho apu kadang tu kan ho apu berapa tak buat ni ha. Whenever he went up on top, he said, Nriamepeuna, up away. I don't know the meaning. Now, how tao cái này the boy meaning cho không phải trong hồi good học để sự đó là họ. The boy trong meaning cho cô đi sang tí nó sẽ bỏ hết cả. Mai ni generation gãy là pass down về trong tôi mũ như này thế. Full volume thì nó mới thế. Ani ulang kan kau ding dengan lekat sarana galu lagi saru sabe pada last name kau ni. Mai kau na history kan ni. In the same manner, passing down our oral story, it may be of any story, including history. Mungkin cái này. Lu cái đó sai, lu soal nó bị cầm ta. Ai lu khai này có soal mất máy. Aku nunggu apa? Nunggu kerana aku soalnya macam kadang masih ni tak. Jadi mungkin kayak ni pergi ni pun kena nak. Tengok, muka tu mereka. Tanah ni orang pun ni. Aku ada buat ni saya pun mereka. Ri dah tu riak mai kan sama tak. Pokok nak wai kau, lek kau, macam kerja, macam sing tuan pun kau tu kan apa. Nriamepeuna tu dong. Hi tu riak ni sama tak. Được, cái này tôi số nó mới nó tôi này thế nào, không cần hải cái này, cái vào xoay để xoay cho, rì ngang vòng bên cạnh họ, phô ngang vòng cạnh họ tụi này tao đó, họ này tôi cầm ngang sờ gầm đại này khan đại này, tôi làm xoay những người đi, xoay thao cái những gian đảm cái nào, cái khuôn nó là zoom mà, cái là xoay có mình nói thì cái bà thay mà cái cả bảo bùi cái buồn đi. Ôi, mấy thấy cái là tôi nói, sao khó lắm ai thân thế nào khai tảng anh có về là gì cũng là khai này vòng có riêng cái vòng có cáo này đi cả bảo chủ yếu mình đi bài hát rốt cũng thấy thấy nè anh là bì để mà tháng nào thì cần revisit cho nó 70 mấy đây 45% 60% là này có mình hiện tại luôn thì cái bì thì cái ini na bang kita 100% dan 100% revisit setengah. We need to revisit all this history, folk song, folk dance, everything, which are related to us. How do we revisit? The way forward is to conduct a thorough research on this. Even by allocating a handsome or healthy, handsome budget. We need to allocate some amount of handsome budget, no? So that we can, conduct a fresh research without any headache. This agenda will be proposed in the assembly in the evening also about the budget, but this is just a passing event for time being. This is the issues that we have in hand for a plan. And most important part is to exhaustively conduct this research project on the origin of our plant. I have come up with some objective and tentative research questions on this key issue. And many of you can contribute more. I have broadly come up with 3 objectives and questions for this research work. To verify and cross-check all those information narrative found so far from region in this regard, whether they are entirely acceptable or not. And only few people who are very old possess this information or story. Lên tuồng trong pri, hàm cái tàu bơi trong pri, thì tàu cũng mấy tay là pri cái hùng máu gì cái thế nào? Aram thay vào đó gan lưu thì quá vào cái này nè, xả mấy xuông pri, giá thay này giá thay này thay nó giá chừng đấy. Nằm cái làm pha trong lớn này trong pri, lưu lát vậy cũng mà thấy cái gần liền còn đến tổng họ phải lưu cơ, nó còn cái này có này phim tạo mà nó cũng có, anh say phải cắt, cái cùng phải cắt phải này luôn mà cái cùng họ phải cắt cùng có cái rồi, cắt tổng lại cái đó này nó mà khác thế nào? Primary source này mình có copy thế nào? Thì đó mình cứ thấy là thế đây, anh có oral cái này nó còn free à? Cái này mấy cái có ai thì đâu nắm có mình có ai cả các tổ mang ta thế nào nhỉ? Mấy bé thì đâu mình thấy cái này còn đất cái nào? Các tổ mà hải cái này nó xây thành gì mấy thành nó bằng cái này đi, làm thế nào? Anh yêu cùng bố nó người thấy cái này thôi, anh yêu cùng mang cùng cùng thế. Sáng tạo đây không mình cái gì rồi đấy, mai cao mình cũng nói thế, tàu bay thay khắp đó mình thấy cái gì rồi, library đài mai cao cũng nói thế, mình sáng tạo đây không mình cái gì mà, anh yêu cùng library gì, store học knowledge store học, traditional trong knowledge cũng trong medicinal trong làm nuôi gì, art and culture làm cũng rồi số lớn của họ thấy, cái của mình nó còn, bởi khúc đó mình giá trị trong cái này, cũng cổ trong cái này lưu đó trong cái này, một cái thấy rằng họ bao nhiêu cái library kinh dầu mình cũng có tổng cái tạo phút đây cái một cái khai đó mình lớn này giải cũng là sao lắm rồi aku hãy được căn tết vài mạng thế kiểu đó cái máy khai nó thì bởi đó cũng nghe thì là sẽ mong quan để mà ra hát rồi bắt mình đây thấy cũng nghe thì nó mà có cụ tôi mặc gái hải cái này bởi đó cũng nghe kiểu cái anh cứ khen hải cái như là cái người của mày để sáng rất là xui mình đây lấy mà không để cho mày các bạn cái đầu như mà láo hại có người đi làm luôn họ thấy đi sau đó mà để láo hại còn không sợ được mà láo thúc cây là lấy con hiền cái đó tao mua nó sẽ mắc sao không hết là phải cũng để relay xuống mấy ngày của tôi phone luôn sẽ làm sao này té với cột cũng là gì ai đá đâu đấy mình là gò đá đâu mà tao ra gì ai đá đó mà sai là sẽ mới đó mình có này đi cây thế thì cũng cây cũng tổng thấy tao à có mà xảy con nó đi xong tôi ấy nó này mình ai hầu thế cái rằng thì xa cái bằng này nè khuẩn bạc khai đi mày nói nó lại anh không cần có để sát sang như vậy thì là hai mà này đi khai nó sẽ thành như này trong quân là con mình trong này là cái cái xe này có xanh thành gì nữa này mấy năm từ đây là tao tập tiệm là không khuẩn giải mấy thằng khuẩn vào đây nào thế để đó bị thu vậy tàn sinh bị thu vậy cùng trong cây bị thu vậy đi đúng xe còn hai con đúng rồi cái xe số sao mình cùng máy luôn xin được vâng rồi là to họ giải được hết của anh cái này library nó gọi tại tin thì giàu hết hai thì giàu thấy còn thế ตัวเขาน้อยตัวเขาสมบูรณ์อย่างนี้นี่ของเลยรีก็มีความจำเป็นเพราะฉันที่พิจารณาดูแรงขนาดที่ฉันที่พิจารณาดูเขาต้องเนี่ยของเดซันมาฮิสตรีมาเป็นอย่างนี้มาใส่เลยนางฉันที่นางยูเอสแต่ก็ไม่ตะบุยตะล้อไม่คิดว่ารวยก็แปลงกันแต่ฉันที่นี่ได้มาสั่งก็ชอบมันดูเลยตายค่ะรวยก็ไม่ต้องเลยนะสิ่งของใดของเขานั้นต้องฮิสตรีนั้นต้องกันดีนั่งปีกับคุณเขาไปบ้างเดี๋ยวบาดเล็บนั่งคนเขาไปบ้างข้ามไหนเนาะกูนับโดยสิ่งที่โตดันต่างไหนเข้าไปปกตินี่apa ini akan yang kompetisi ini. Zos Amerika ni buai kau yang dia super kuat tu bangsa tu mai presiden suruh menunggu itu. Lam gak tu mai gaya mai kau jadi tu orang lawan kita. Hai kan mai kau mai kau yang hau tu ni hau macam mana? Kau kau ibu na. Ani pun sama dengan macam ni kan tu jadi lam desa kau. Presiden suruh menunggu kan USA tu pergi ni tahu lawan ni. Kau ni kami tahu itu ni. ไม่เล่นเลยสินะไอ้ได้ตรงนี้เดี๋ยวลุงได้เดี๋ยวไอ้ไม่ข้าตรงประเทศเนี่ยเขาไม่พูดได้น้องตุ้มมาเลยนะอะตรงบ้านเพลสมันต้องพูดได้รู้ไหมโจ๊กปอดเขาได้เลยนะผมก็จะถึงสารโจ๊กปอดนะครับผมได้ก็ไม่จะทำโลโก้ไม่ได้ผมมาประเทศไทยอย่างไรก็ตรงควรจะหักไปฟังก็ชี้ไปได้ไอ้เขาเป็นเด็กผมเหมือนแต่ในนั้นนี่อันนี้ไม่ให้ดีเลยรู้ทำไมหนุ่มมาตรงนี้ได้ก็สร้างผู้ง่ายสร้างไม่ได้ก็ที่มาใกล้ตาลงหน่วยไอ้สันติสุตาลงหน่วยโปรฟิชาสุตาลงหน่วยนี่คนเจริญไงครับกันนี้นะก็ได้ในตอนนี้ไม่ได้เราชีวิตที่ผูกพันกันไหนนะใกล้ใครลงหายเราไงก็ต้องให้เรื่องนี้ไงก็ต้องให้พวกชาวบ้านเรื่องชาวสวนมาบ้าบางนี้ไงก็ต้องให้ตำแหน่งบางนักก็ได้untuk datang pada negeriเขาได้อัตราฟรอได้ก่อนชีกามเนี่ยเราจะดีต่างกันตรงไหนนี่มาใส่ตรงกันดีเขาดีนะมันตรงหอกมาใส่ตรงกระโปรงเส้นอะไรตรงนี้มาตัดกันหมดแล้วเลยนะทั้งนี้แล้วเดี๋ยวคนเดียวการสร้างเราคงจะรวยก็สมมติก็ดีนะไปใครรวยอย่างนี้ใช่ให้คนน่ะฮิตดีนะมันให้ร้านกันรู้จักเนาะภาษาเซนเตอร์เอเชียเนาะอันนี้ก็ออริจินอลมันหมดเลยอันนี้ตะบอนซีเนี่ยกายเนี่ยได้ข่าวเนี่ยเส้นทางเนี่ยซีก็ไม่บังอันนี้ข่าวก็ไม่บังที่หมุนเอ๊ะตรงนี้ There is a foundation to grow to fly ก็สองคนนี้ตะพายคนนี้กระดุมตะคนนี้อันนี้อยู่ตรงฮิสตรีอันนี้อยู่ตรงกันดีอันนี้อยู่ตรงนามค่ายปีกันเลยนะสามเท่าหนึ่งเลยนะเอโรเพลนเอโรโดรมห้องไอ้ห้องเป็นสามเท่าโบก็สามตัวอีกที่กลางลงซ้ำสมัยนี้ตะบองน้ำลูกกันกับปั้นได้กับปั้นนั้นสมมติก็ไม่ดี everything goes about long term right there is called a take-off ดังปันตะ take-off หนึ่งเชื่อให้ดี that take-off implies to our history นี่ไม่กี่มาได้ที่สมดุลหรอกนะสมดุลไม่รู้ชื่อเราข้างไหนนะนู้นเราต้องเนี่ยนะเฮ้ย history กันก็เราไม่ต้องการจะเราดูทุกเราไม่ดูตกลงสุดต้องเนี่ยนะมันใส่หน้าให้ฮักตะวันแต่ไอ้ลูกก็สามารถมาแต่ไอ้ลูกใครครับนี่กูหมายมันเลยนี่ก็เนี่ยซอยใหม่มันก็มาใครกันเลยนี่กูหมายมันตรงนี้ไอ้ลูกใครเขาไอ้ลูกสามารถมาใส่นี่กูที่ข้าทำรุ่มที่มันเอง we don't read room of that kind ไอ้กูที่เขาคงกล้าดาวซ้ำ we need to well us about our history about our culture about our clan about our parents that is the foundation where we should stand firm if we want to grow if we want to be respected or not in the society to live without fear ปีไม่มาหลงพ่อไม่พึ่งไม่ร้อนอะไรหลงพ่อไม่ได้สัมผัสว่าไม่มาใส่หน้าจ้าของใครคนของหลงพ่อไม่ได้ดีนี่เต่าเปี้ยงดินติดมองเราเขาเอ้ยพี่ตายเลยทุกตัวตรงไหนคดีมีไว้นะใช้คนที่แท้เนี่ยเขาบอกว่าพวกไปต่อไอ้เส้นดาวตัวดิ้งเขาเพี Kipeilua proposal center of the top. Yes. ใส่บุญนะก็นายว่ามีสิ่งนะไม่คำแต่ต้องทำอยู่ว่างพอ We are here today with a purpose, with a vision, and to stand firm. If we want to go high, farther, fly higher. If we want respect, if we want honor from others. และข้าราชการที่นี่เรียนอะไรก็มีใครขนาดนี้ใครนะลาโต้ได้ลาโต้มาได้แล้วท่านอยู่ยาวนั้นสอนที่นี่นู่นได้แต่คุณเด็กก็มา significant objective แต่ทำไม่ก็มากับยังเบลักตัวคนนั้นเลยมาไม่ต้อง significant แต่ให้แค่ significant objective แต่ก็มาแค่ดิ้งแต่สับเพิ่มมาก็จะ significant ที่ใครนะCharity begins at home. This must be very relevant to others also. And so as also in our case. Our family. ไม่ต้อง family ก็เป็นแค่อันนี้ของ family ของนี้ Charity begins at home. อันนี้ใครพวกนี้ family ไม่กลางแต่ไม่กลางเท่าไหร่ Charity must begin from this very time. We cannot, this is the beginning of civilization. Unless charity doesn't begin at home, we cannot progress as a civilized nation or community or family. Therefore, revisiting the history of Nriamepeuna by organizing its convention conferences is nothing but one step back, two steps forward theory. Under the theme that we have already shown here. Under the theme, what theme? Read together, all of us. In what? Under what theme? Please read out together here. Finding roots. Yes. This theme should not be forgotten. Under this theme, we are doing this. We have to work very hard to fulfill our dreams as well as this thing. Written down here alone will not help unless we work hard to translate this thing into action. Right? This is the philosophy that I would like to convey and encourage or motivate all of us together to work together at your own level with sacrificial spirit. Whatever we can do, all of us must participate in this mission. And somehow I have already mentioned in conclusion. Therefore, to do all this technical work, research project, to take up this research project, we have already constituted preliminary level of research committee. I think that is only for state level, right? Abungta. Correct. So, research. Please say. Okay, fine. I want to get that information. To me, I feel the need to expand. I'm not the authority to give the final decision, but it's proposal. It's necessary let us expand the member of the research committee to do this research work, to fulfill this theme by conducting a research project. This was, I would like to share thought-provoking ideas to all of our loving family members. With this, I conclude. Thank you so much.